Today I want to show you my favorite Edison deck, Northwemko Turbo. This deck might not be the best Edison deck out there, but it can create unbeatable boards. Let's jump right into it. This deck tries to summon Divine Grace Northwemko by using Djinn Releaser of Rituals as its material. When we use Djinn Releaser of Rituals as the material for a ritual monster, our opponent cannot special summon while that ritual monster is on the field. And Divine Grace Northwemko can on-summon target face-up cards on the field up to the materials used for its summon, and while those cards are on the field, it cannot be destroyed by card effects. This means that we can, for example, activate Ascending Soul, summon a Divine Grace Northwemko, target the Ascending Soul, and then our opponent cannot destroy the Northwemko with card effects while the Ascending Soul is on the field. This means that we get a really accessible Royal Oppression that cannot be destroyed by card effects, and because it's on 2700, our opponent can't really swing over this as well without using any special summons. We can send the Djinn Releaser of Rituals to the graveyard with Armageddonite or Foolish Burial, because we can use this as ritual material even from the graveyard. It's a really cool card. Later in the video I will show you some things that could remove the Northwemko from your board and how you can prevent that. But first let's jump right into the cards. We are playing 3 Manju, 3 Senju as well as 3 Sonic Bird to search ritual spells or ritual monsters. Then we are playing 2 Armageddonite. This can send any dark monster from our deck to the graveyard, so this sends us any Djinn if we need it. Then we play 3 Djinn Releaser of Rituals to just stop our opponent from special summoning, and 3 Djinn Presider of Rituals. This can give a ritual monster that used this card as material the effect that when it destroys an opponent's monster by battle we can draw a card. And we are playing 3 Divine Grace Northwemko. This is really great because it's a level 7, so you can play Preparation of Rites. It's a spellcaster, so you can play Secret Village, and it has an effect that prevents it from being destroyed by card effects. So it makes this a really good ritual monster to play for the Djinn Release of Rituals. For the spells we are playing 2 Ascending Soul. This is mainly there to be a face-up spell that Northwemko can target to be indestructible, and it also just gives us back resources. We can, for example, just use a Manju and a Djinn as material for the Northwemko and then add the Manju back to our hand this way. Then a Foolish Burial to send a Djinn to the graveyard, 3 Preparation of Rites. This is just insane because you can use the Djinns from the graveyard as material as well. So if we have Northwemko, the ritual spells, 2 Djinns and Preparation in hand, you can use the ritual spells, some Northwemko, activate Preparation of Rites, add another Northwemko, add the ritual spell from the graveyard to the hand with Preparation of Rites, and then just banish the Djinns from the graveyard for another Northwemko. It's really cool to use this card. Then 3 Ritual of Grace. This is probably the best ritual spell in Edison format because it has an effect that can prevent a ritual monster from being targeted for a whole turn. It's really cool. You can play around things that would target this that way. Best example would be Dimensional Prison. So before you attack, you can banish the ritual spell from your graveyard, and then your opponent can't use Dimensional Prison on the Northwemko anymore. Then we are playing a Terraforming as well as 2 Secret Village and a Zombie World, just for the Monarch matchup and generally to negate all spell effects so that our opponent has even less outs to destroy the Northwemko. Then because we want to draw deep in this deck, we are playing 3 Upstart Goblin. I am very glad that this card is unlimited in this format because it really helps the deck. And then because we don't like some back row, we are playing Heavy Storm, and because we don't like big monsters, we are playing Lightning Vortex. Finally, we are playing 2 Royal Decree. This way we can negate all trap effects, negate all spell effects with Secret Village, negate all special summons with Djinn, and have an indestructible Northwemko, or maybe even 2 indestructible Northwemkos. Everything is possible in this deck. In the side deck we are playing some hate for outs of Northwemko. We are playing a Neospatian Grand Mole, 2 Honest, Brain Control, 2 Noblemen of Crossout, 3 Prohibition, a Zombie World, a Judgment, 2 Dark Bribe, and 2 Light Imprisoning Mirror. The extra deck you can completely ignore. You will never summon anything in the extra deck. So what are some cards that could get rid of our Northwemko? If we already used the Northwemko effect to target face-up cards on the field to make it indestructible, then we are basically immune to Torrential Tribute. We don't really care about Icarus attack, we don't mind Lightning Vortex, and our opponent can use Raikou and doesn't do anything against us. But sometimes you don't have enough materials to place face-up cards on the field for the Northwemko to target, especially if you go first. That's why you have to mind all of these. Some of these you can negate with Royal Decree or with Secret Village, and there are some outs for Raikou as well. Blackwing is a really bad matchup because Gale can halve the attack of Northwemko, and our opponent plays 3 Kalut, so they can just normal summon a Blackwing if they get Black Whirlwind out, add a Kalut, and then swing over the Northwemko. To prevent that, we are playing Prohibition to actually call the Kalut, or we honest our opponent to make them waste their Kalut, and we deal damage to them, and then maybe we can even next turn swing in for game. There are some monsters that are bigger than Northwemko as well that our opponent can easily summon going first. The best examples, I think, are Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon and Titanial, because all of these are on 2800 and Northwemko is only on 2700. Some outs for those are Lightning Vortex, Neospatial Grand Mole, or Brain Control, because then we can just take control of the monster and tribute it for the Northwemko summon. There are some spells that can get rid of Northwemko as well. Book of Moon and Enemy Controller are even quick play spells, so these are really pesky to play against. And Soul Exchange and Brain Control are mostly played in Monarch decks where our opponent tries to take the Northwemko and tribute it. Because of that, we are playing Zombie World to just straight up prevent any tributing of monsters for tribute summon, except for zombie monsters. No one plays those. Kaius is really good as well, and Riser, because Kaius doesn't destroy, he banishes, and Riser doesn't destroy, he stacks to the top of the deck. But the Monarch matchup is really possible because our opponent has to special summon something for them to tribute, unless they use something like Brain Control or Soul Exchange, but we can prevent that by just using Zombie World, because then they cannot tribute anything, or we can just use Secret Village and then they can't use any spell effects to break our boards. Some really good traps that are possible to remove the Northwemko are Phoenix Wing Blast and Dimensional Prison, because this stacks and this banishes. Dimensional Prison targets those, so you can just banish a Ritual of Grace from your graveyard before you attack, and Phoenix Wing Blast, you can negate this with a Dark Bribe, a Solemn Judgment, or a Royal Decree. Then there are some monsters that could get rid of the Northwemko. Phantom of Chaos could target a dead in the graveyard to just destroy the Northwemko. Neospatial Grand Mole is really hard to get rid of because this is not a light monster, so we cannot really light Imprisoning Mirror it, and our opponent is not gonna set this, so we can't Nobleman of Crossout it. But Nobleman of Crossout can get rid of a DD Warrior Lady, a Snowman Eater, and it's really good against Raikou, because Raikou is a flip effect monster. And because DD Warrior Lady and Raikou are light monsters as well, we are playing the light Imprisoning Mirror. Then the back row you can either negate or destroy with a Heavy Storm as well. I forgot to mention that you can just destroy the back row before it does anything bad to you as well. Yeah, I'm now gonna show you some replays of this deck in action, and I hope you enjoy this deck as much as I do, because it's a really fun deck and it's different from what most other people play. I tried playing some other Edison decks as well, but this is my favorite deck by far. Let's jump right into the replays. Okay, here I have won the die roll. My opponent is playing Frognarchs. They have quite many spells in their hands, so I'm really lucky to have the Secret Village. I open with Sonic Bird, but I don't have a way to summon Northwemko yet. They can just normal summon Substitute, do the Substitute stuff, then they can still take control of my monster, swing into their own Dupe Frog and get a search. Then they could even Dupe Frog. Oh yeah, they do Dupe Frog, send a Treeborn, and they got a full setup for next turn. So they think, oh man, I got a Treeborn in graveyard, my opponent is playing a weird ritual deck, I got 2 enemy controllers in hand so I can break boards, and I got a Chogodia in case anything goes really wrong. And then I just add Northwemko, Divine Grace, summon the Northwemko, target his Sonic Bird so that my Northwemko cannot be destroyed, activate Secret Village and Royal Decree, so my opponent doesn't really have a chance anymore. I keep the Royal Decree set, but yeah, this is GG's already. I swing over his monster, swing over the Sonic Bird, and he just gives up. In this example I lost the die roll. My opponent is going first and they are playing a really combo deck. They've just set 2 and pass though. T-set's always good. I'm kind of thinning my deck. Foolish Burial, good thing. Adding a Northwemko, but I don't have a ritual spell yet. They use the Raikou and get graveyard set up. They got a pretty good hand. Got a Gauze, but that's dead if I got a Northwemko. Debris Dragon, but that doesn't do much if I got a Northwemko as well. Swing with the Northwemko, and they can just stack the Northwemko. Really sad, but happens. Got a Volcanic counter on their field. I swing in with Sonic Bird. Then they summon Gauze. We argue a bit about the Volcanic counter, if it's mandatory or not. Then they summon the Titanial, so this is on 28, this is on 27. We are in not a good situation, but we got the Lightning Vortex X and we got an Honest, so that's really good. We can discard a Djinn for the Lightning Vortex because we can use the Djinns from the graveyard as well. They summon an Ally of Justice, Castador. This is good, but yeah, Northwemko cannot be destroyed by card effects while some cards are on the field. So lucky us. This is not so good against us. And Preparation of Rites is just crazy. We can activate Preparation of Rites, get us a Northwemko, and we can add a ritual spell from our graveyard, and they flip Trap Dust Shoot. But what are they gonna hit? Best hit would be Honest for them right now, but they choose the Northwemko. We put back one Northwemko, normal summon Honest, then summon the Divine Grace Northwemko, target the Honest and the Ally of Justice, so Northwemko is safe. Then we can swing in with Northwemko. We know he got the volcanic counter in the graveyard. Oh, I think they should have banished both right now, but I think they didn't. Yeah, they banished one volcanic counter, inflict damage to us. Then we swing with the Honest. I think they should have banished both at once, but I'm not sure. I think they should have. I'm just realizing right now. But you can write it in the comments if I'm wrong or if they are wrong. Who knows? Then we can just bounce the Honest. So even if they like somewhat special summon something, we can just Honest, and we are bigger than whatever they special summon. They set an MST, we can just draw for turn. They are on not quite many life points anymore, and their last draw for turn is an MST, so they give up. Then game 2, here we are going second again. Our opponent has a decent hand, but they have quite many cards that special summon. We can Nobleman of Cross out the Raikou, so Raikou's gone. Then we can, with Manju, get us a Ritual of Grace, activate Preparation of Rites to get a Northwemko, and then just summon a Northwemko with a Djinn release of Rituals. And they got no out at all. Like, this card gets you something that special summons. Essentially, 5 cards that special summon. Like, Mark of the Rose could be an out, but it's not really not pretty. So, yeah, they just give up.